There was a time when I was in love, and it was one of the most magical feelings I could ever have. Those days were a delight, and so many feelings were engendered. Every moment held a certain promise. Much like music, we spent time together as if there was no tomorrow, sharing laughter, shedding tears, and making plans. That moment with my lover was an utmost soothing experience. Much like the sun shining through the clouds after a storm, we shared countless moments, from serene afternoon walks to endless late-night conversations. However, it was all short-lived, as after 4 years, my relationship, which I thought was everlasting, only turned out to be a hallucination. The loss was agonizing and I felt absolutely heartbroken. But as time moved on, I began to rationalize it. That horrible event set the stage for retraining my entire perspective on life. All those things that surround romance and the act of loving were all represented in that painful journey. It wasn't the end of my life. Instead, it was the beginning of a more mature and wise version of myself. First, mental pain can be harder to endure than physical pain. Mental suffering is worse than physical suffering because it inflicts torment onto oneself and one's health. One is able to eat and sleep when there is pain in their arms, legs, or any part of the body. However, when I was mentally wounded, I couldn't eat properly, and sleepless nights were filled with regret and self-inflicted anguish. I felt completely lost, drained of motivation, and overwhelmed by a desire to disappear. But in the end, I realized that this pain, unlike any other, was fundamental for recovery. One single thought helped me, sitting down and taking a moment to comprehend where I was and how I got there. Yes, it was difficult, but even still, it was the only way forward. I also discovered that time itself is a powerful remedy. Though the scars may remain, the intensity of mental pain fades, making room for resilience and renewal. Through patience and self-compassion, I learned that even the deepest wounds can heal. Secondly, actions speak louder than words. There was a time when I was so trusting towards the one whom I loved that I disregarded all sorts of reasoning. He would always encourage me with sweet talk and elaborate the most beautiful dreams of us together. I fell for those assurances. But after the breakup of our 4 years together, with the benefit of hindsight, I could see that most of such things were mere words without the intention behind them. From that experience, I have understood that action is the most potent form of communication. Everyone is capable of beautifying their speech. Not everyone back it up. In fact, those who love you do not make expectations or give flowery speeches. They let their deeds speak for themselves. Their efforts convey by all means that their wish of being in your presence is more than just a vice. It is true desire, which is unquenchable and everlasting. This is the reason why love is meaningful, because it is in the work and actions people do, not only the words they say. Thirdly, life goes on. I once thought I couldn't imagine life without the person I loved. But after our breakup, I realized that whether I'm happy or heartbroken, the world keeps moving forward, moment by moment. And so do I, surprisingly. I found myself not just surviving, but perhaps living even better than before. The pain and challenges I faced didn't break me, they shaped me. Through the heartache and life's inevitable stumbles, I discovered a strength within me I never knew I had. Life, it turns out, always goes on. And so can we. Another important point, love is a two-way effort. The harsh reality is that relationships are not easy, and thus should not be approached lightly, which is why both partners must be committed to the task at hand, love. If one partner is committed to a relationship while the other dismisses it, then love becomes detrimental psycho-emotionally, as a single partner is shouldering the brunt of the entire weight and the other's disinterest. Fails can come, but they must always come together. Both partners are responsible for nurturing and making the bond successful. When you are in love, the efforts need to be made by both sides because the love and the relationship has to be developed and worked on by both of the people in it. If one person is always trying but the other person is careless, love stops being a bond and instead turns into a burden. The maximum effort will eventually be on the one person, and that will cause imbalance and frustration. Love is not easy to build and maintain, and both people have to invest in it equally for it to flourish. It is important to realize that love is not just a feeling. It is also about two people being together, understanding each other and sharing responsibilities with each other. Respect and an intention to value one another is important and necessary in a relationship. Such longevity is only possible if both people make the effort to listen to each other when needed or help and care for each other's needs in life. Such gestures and caring offers help in reinforcing the bond and the partnership such that both can easily face adversities of life together. I have come to learn that true love is not about finding the perfect person, but rather growing and accepting one another's imperfections. However, this only becomes possible through serious dedication by both partners because a relationship only gets meaningful and lasts long when they decide to work together for it. Otherwise, there is no way any relationship would be able to sustain the test of time and all that life throws at a person. Additionally, missing someone isn't the end of the world. An attachment might be able to bring about so many emotions. But having to lose one attachment sometimes feels like one losing everything, including the world. The routines, intimacy, and affection a couple used to share is now gone. But from my own personal experiences, not having someone doesn't mean you've lost something. You have to remember life goes on, and in the process it taught me that I still have the most important thing: myself. Their absence has become an opportunity for reflection, healing, and self-discovery. I've learned to find happiness within, to value the relationships that remain, and to understand that true happiness comes from within, not from relying on someone else. What initially felt like loss has instead become a path toward growth and resilience. Missing someone often marks the start of becoming stronger, more independent, and prepared to embrace the good things that lie ahead. While the pain may feel overwhelming at first, it is only temporary. The growth and lessons gained from that experience become invaluable, serving as enduring treasures that guide and support me throughout my life's journey. Finally, all pain eventually fades. Following such a painful trauma can be quite difficult. However, surviving it, time does have a magical ability to make all pain gradually fade away. Usually, I don't believe this, but over time the pain from trauma becomes numb. Each day, I focused on the small things that mattered: reading a book, listening to my favorite playlists, or talking to my friends. One day, as I looked back, the pain that felt too unbearable at one point in time was not something that scared me. Rather, I focused on how that pain eventually taught me and what strength it helped me uncover. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to share it with your friends who might benefit from it. Plus, let me know what you want to see next in the comments.